now, so we're bringing in ice right now with some fans in. Anyway, getting ready to call this meeting to order at 6:33. Again, I'll hit that. Roll call, Mr. Russell. Oh, sorry, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can stand, please stand, rise. Face the flag over here. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll do roll call, Mr. Russell.
Good. Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Present.
Mayor Hepburn.
Present. Oh, that's another tie.
Anybody need a tie?
Anybody need a tie tonight? I've got an extra. Well, we have recognition, item 4, recognition of outgoing Mayor Pro Tem Muir Davis and Councilmember Robin Carter.
Mike's up there.
Oh, we got everything. Do we have plaques? If I could have Councilmember Carter and Mayor Pro Tem Muir Davis, please come down here. As we know that the Councilmember Carter and Mayor Pro Tem Muir Davis will be leaving us, and that we have a commendation. I'm not going to read the commendation because we have other people that are coming to give commendations also, but I want to here personally give this to you guys. These aren't these named, these numbered. I mean,
Yes.
Get Rob, I have Robin's signature and she has mine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would just sign our own.
And then also the Laverne plaque, City of Laverne, California, presented on behalf of the citizens of Laverne to Muir Davis, City Council member, in appreciation of 5 years dedicated service and caring leadership to the community and organization, July 18, 2022. Thank you. On behalf of the citizens of Laverne also, Robin Carter, City Council member, in appreciation of 13 years of dedicated service, caring leadership to the community and organization, July 18, 2022. Now we have presentations from other officials. Mr. Portantino. Why you changed?
Folio 10. So I'm Marco, I'm with Senator Portantino's office. Robin, I knew you probably, well, I've known all you guys since pretty much my first day of work for the Senator over 5.5 years ago. And it's been great getting to know you over the years, the relationship that both the Senator and I have with you, and the friendship, and just the way that we work so well together. It's been fantastic, and we want to congratulate you on your retirement. Muir, 5 years, it seems longer than that, which is a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. No, but Muir, it's been great to get to know you. The Senator really appreciates his friendship with you. And we just love the way that we work so well with you guys. So on behalf of Senator Portantino, I have 2 certificates here that I would love to present to you guys. This is yours, Mayor.
Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you.
And we gotta get a photo op, right?
I got it right here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now for a minute with the mayor, just a second.
I know, once of all, thank you for your service to the city.
Assemblymember Holden. How are you this evening?
Check. Hi, my name is Matt Lyons, and tonight I have the pleasure of representing the State Assemblymember Chris Holden. Having served on the Pasadena City Council for almost 24 years, he has a deep appreciation for every council member that represents the great cities in the 41st Assembly District, whether you've served a day or 13 years. There's a lot of things that go unseen by the public that council members do on regional boards or meetings that just simply aren't council meetings. And so again, on behalf of the Assembly member, we want to thank you for every single day of service that you had on this council on behalf of the city of Laverne. And looking at some of the more recent accomplishments, almost, I'm not going to say most notably, but the infrastructure enhancement district is going to pay huge dividends for citizens and the future generation of the city of Laverne. And you both have set such a positive tone when it comes to the gold line coming to the city of Laverne, that I think the city is very well positioned to take everything that they do to the next level as they welcome the regional transportation solution to Laverne and beyond. So again, on behalf of Assemblymember Holden, thank you for all that you do, both seen and unseen. And on behalf of the State Assembly, I'm presenting you with this certificate of recognition, which is a small token of our appreciation.
Yeah, come over.
You gotta know your boss, you know who you are, you know. There you go. Thank you, Matt. Now from LA County Supervisors. Vicki, come on up.
You get the pretty one, we've been
Yeah,
sitting
you-
up for so long.
I always have the pleasure of being the last representative for the elected officials. So I am representing LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. And as my colleague so eloquently expressed, what a difficult job it is to be an elected official. All that you do, all the people you serve, and this is a tiny fraction of what you do. The years of time, the meetings, the listening to good comments and bad comments, so many things that not a lot of people hear about. But working for an elected official, I have learned those things, and my hat is really off to people that run for public office, that stay for 13 years, 5 years. It is not an easy job, and it's not well paid. So I want to thank you on behalf of the supervisor that all you've done, not just for the city of Laverne, but for this community, as was echoed from my colleagues. So I wish you both the best, and I thank you for your years of service.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Do you want to, please come on up. And Supervisor Solis, we have 2 county supervisors now. The sliver of the EIFD, which is the air corridor, is Solis, Phyllis Solis, and then Supervisor Barger is the remainder. So please welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. And hi, everyone. Just really briefly, my name is Andrea Moreno. I'm here representing Supervisor Hilda Solis. As many of you know, she recently is now representing a portion of Laverne because of redistricting. So I want to just thank Vicki and her office. They have been amazing partners in helping us navigate our new areas, and so we're very happy to be here in Laverne. And although I didn't get a chance to work with you both, I know that you'll continue to be great stewards of the history that Laverne has continued to have. And I'm sure you'll continue to work with the new folks on council. So on behalf of Supervisor Solis and the First District, I want to commend you for all of your work, and thank you so much, Mayor. The certificates are actually signed double now. So the city of Laverne is very special to the county.
Double.
Double signatures. And
First
so
and
you
fifth.
have, that's right, first and
Very
fifth.
proud of that.
So thank you again, and very nice to meet you all.
has both signatures on
Okay, you
this.
get in the middle of this.
Yep.
Yours is perfect. Straight it up there. There you go. Better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Nope. I think we'll go back up on the dais. Another round of applause for these two. They've done We're going to close this section and open up public comment. Anybody wish to speak?
Public comment for the.
Public comment for the outgoing council members and Mayor Pro Tem. So we do have one, Kathy Kalusik. Come on up.
I may need an additional minute because Don Kendrick wasn't able to be here tonight and he did ask me to.
You have the floor.
Thank you. This is stay all night. Kathy?
Not that long.
Not at all. It's all pretty concise. So this is from Don Kendrick regarding Robin Carter. Approximately 25 years ago, Robin Carter made the decision to serve our community. Her first act was spending 8 years as an elected Bonita Unified School Board member. With the tragic and unfortunate accidental death of school board member Ed Jones, Robin was asked to fill the term, remaining on Ed's 4-year term, accumulating 9.5 years representing our children and students of our community. But Robin wasn't done. In 2009, she was elected to the Laverne City Council and has spent 13 years serving the residents of Laverne, a total of 22.5 years as an elected official, helping to make decisions to improve the lives of our children and our residents. Robin has served on what I consider one of the most important committees in Laverne, the Youth and Family Action Committee. Most recently, she had chaired this committee, creating programs to enhance the lives of our children at risk. Another committee Robin has served, representing Laverne, is Tri-City Mental Health. This is only one of 2 such organizations in the state of California. She has risen to be chair of the board of directors of Tri-City. This represents Pomona, Laverne, and Claremont. No small feat for the community with the smallest population and the smallest representation on the board. The other significant Laverne representation Robin Carter has made is with the Gold Line Construction Authority and Board of Directors. Robin has been vice chair of this board for a number of years. When the train arrives in Laverne in 3 years, thank Robin for helping to get it here. When Robin was elected in 2009, she came into office at the beginning of the Great Recession. Talk about indoctrination under fire. Decreasing city income, but still trying to provide services to residents. Robin knows that it's the city's employees who provide the services to our residents, and she continuously supported Laverne staff, and with that support, no employee was terminated, the only city around that had that distinction. Robin is not afraid to dig in and work for the betterment of Laverne residents, and has for 22.5 years. She is a consensus builder and team player in helping create a better Laverne. Laverne will miss the high integrity and character Robin Carter brings to our city government and representation of the people. Thank you, Robin, for your untiring service and dedication to Laverne. And this is regarding Muir Davis. When Muir Davis was elected 5 years ago to the Laverne City Council, he immersed himself in the understanding of city finances and became probably the best council member in our city finances this city has ever had. When Muir graduated from Bonita High School and went to Cal Berkeley to study applied mathematics, he was already a step ahead. It is this expertise he brought to the city council and the city of Laverne. Results: Laverne is a very sound financial community. Muir was one of the strongest proponents in gathering the last 3/4 cent sales tax for our city. This increased revenue goes directly to our residents and the service it provides. Since the passage of this proposition, Laverne has been able to improve its services to residents and at the same time provide better financial support to our city employees. When Muir was being interviewed by Edison, an employee who had worked with him in a different company told the decision makers at Edison that Muir doesn't think outside the box. He doesn't even know there is a box. It is this visionary ability that creates dialogue and moving forward in areas that have previously been unexplored and make Laverne that special place we call home. A great example was prevention of Laverne Fire Department from going county. After 1,600 signatures during the pandemic were gathered by residents, Muir came up with the brilliant idea of going to the voters if the city council decided the county proposal was a better option. This allowed all 5 council members to endorse this proposal and move forward with the hiring of a new fire chief. Laverne will miss you, Muir. Thank you for the service and dedication, high integrity, and character you provide in your leadership. And quickly from me. I started attending city council meetings regularly around 7 years ago. I didn't know Robin Carter at the time, but I always was impressed with her. Most notably for me was her dedication to keeping our fire department in-house. We were getting very close to moving to the county model when Robin reached out to a group of residents and she and her husband put together the petition to save our fire department. And our group pounded the pavement and got 1,600 signatures. Look where we are now, an outstanding new chief, and all 3 stations are open. Without Robin, I honestly don't think we could do it. You are an asset to our city, and I'm happy and proud that we've become friends. And for Muir. Muir Davis was an acquaintance of mine back then, because we, live in the Old Town area. And I always thought he was a nice person. I didn't know how absolutely brilliant he was until I witnessed him on council. He has worked with our city manager and staff and has come up with several creative solutions that have saved our city millions of dollars. I'm also very proud to call you friend. Robin and Muir, your wisdom and guidance will be missed on the dais, but I'm hoping that you will continue to be involved so we can continue to enjoy our wonderful city. I'm saving seats out here for you. Thank you for your service to our city.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else wish to speak on this? Lily?
Good evening, City Council and the Mayor, and then especially this is Robin Cotton and Phyllis Muir. Even though I was kind of like a tough person, come here always complain for something and then not really agree with what you vote for. But anyway, I understand because you think that's good for Laverne, and then because you have the serve heart for Laverne, because when you vote for, you think it's the best for Laverne. So I totally understand, and then I really, really appreciate your long years, 13 years, 5 years. So I hope still see you guys in the different community, and then a lot of hard work, and then it's definitely not easy. And then I understand because you're still so young, why you don't continue, because you said it's a family issue. So I really appreciate that, because I understand, because for me as a mom, I will think my kids is most important for me. So to be a elected official, not good pay, a lot of complaint, and then for the coming 4 or 5 years, right, the 3 new council still will face a lot of tough citizens like me. We will keep coming for the transparency. So just really, really appreciate y'all. So this is roses from me, my garden. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Anyone else like to speak? Mr. Carter?
Thank you. First off, congratulations to candidates that have secured a seat on the council. I hope your service goes well and that all the council members during the next term, as you all serve all of our citizens.
Sorry, you got upstaged by roses, I'm sorry. We can't see her anymore, but that's fine, whatever. Keep going.
Robin, you have been serving since we had children. PTA, Little League, ASO, Bonita Boosters, VP, and others, all before you decided to seek office as a trustee for Bonita Unified School District. Winning that election resulted in your first elected position. You also had to resign your Bonita USD position at Ramona once elected. Just another sacrifice you made for our citizens. Serving 2 terms for Bonita Unified School District and then not seeking a third, only to be appointed to serve the remainder of another term upon the death of trustee Ed Jones. Some of your accomplishments with the assistance of many others was the Sportsplex development, Los Flores pool improvements for joint use with the city of Laverne, Laverne University, and Bonita High School, and supporting and passing of the bond measures with the support of our citizens from San Dimas and Laverne. I have one here on serving the youth, which I'm just going to say real quickly. While you were a school board member, you had a particular situation where a young man was basically going to be sent out of district for an infraction that you thought was inappropriate and would not have helped this young man. This young man, due to your efforts in getting the school district to see it from a different light, was not only able to stay in school under contract, but he graduated and is now a teacher up in Northern California. So thank you for doing that. The other one that came to mind was a Japanese woman who was well above her 70s. Her husband came to you and she said she missed one element. She already had her master's, she already had her doctorate, she'd already served throughout education and was retired. She did not have her Bonita Unified School high school diploma. So she came to you and you wanted to make an event. And instead of making an event, they both approached you, husband and wife, and said, absolutely not. We need to do this on the side. So basically you made all the arrangements, took them into a small conference room, we had a small celebration, and you were able to present her a diploma after she had been sent away because she was Japanese. So thank you for doing that also. You were elected to the Laverne City Council in 2009 and have served for 13 years, all with the intention of supporting our youth, citizens, and community. You even retired early from your position with the University of Laverne to spend more time on city elements. You have accomplished much, including improved relationships with BUSD, ULB, mobile home parks, and other community groups. Serving on Gold Line as President and Vice President of the Construction Authority and the Board of Directors, working with Supervisor Catherine Barger on the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, and I think that's just EIFD for everybody's ears, correct?
Much easier.
As Vice Chair. The removal of all page stamp from consideration of use for violent criminals and expansion with the assistance of the entire council, staff, and involved citizens. And even though neither of us have military background, your support for the military families have been extensive. This even included a small issue of correcting the name of one of our World War II veterans that had been misspelled on the memorial plaque at Veterans Hall. Maybe not a big thing to others, but very important to that individual and his family. The small things you accomplished meant a lot to these individuals, including the In God We Trust sign that is above this council now. Mayor Davis, thank you for the time and expertise that you brought to the council. Your financial acumen has left the city in a financial position that will serve it well currently and into the future, hopefully. Robin and Muir, the donation of countless hours of preparation, study sessions, phone calls, emails, and on and on and on has brought me deep respect for your efforts and outcomes. Robin, the decision to not seek an additional term was challenging. Knowing the importance of family to you and how much you were assisting our daughter with her cancer treatment, I think your heart and mind have led you to the proper decision. I am proud of the way you juggled your schedule to get her to treatments, babysitting, food prep, while still attending your meetings. Almost a quarter of a century of elected service should be acknowledged and praised, for only individuals that have served in the seats you have occupied can understand the devotion and challenges required to do this service. Here's something from me for your dedication and achievements. This is a bouquet of 24 roses. I am presenting you one rose for each of the 23 years of elected service you have given to our community. The 24th rose is to memorialize the future we will now be able to share together with family and traveling and sincerely look forward to the time we now have. And,
Stop!
and if you would double the 24 to 48, that is the number of years we've been married. Coincident? I think not. All my love to you, Don.
Anybody else wish to speak? Ms. Beauchamp, come on up.
Good evening, Council and Mayor Hepburn. I want to say thank you to both of these that are exiting the council. Although I rarely agree with the decisions that you made on this council, people don't know how much reading is involved. Until I got seriously involved, attending these meetings on a regular basis and printing out these packets that are 600 pages plus sometimes, and reading all of those documents, plus all of the other committees that you're involved with. I want to thank you for that. I also want to especially thank Robin Cader because having the courage to break the old boys club, you and Donna Redmond were the first women elected to this council, so that is to be commended as well. So thank you very kindly for your presence and wish you the best in the future.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Mr. Allison.
I wasn't going to say anything because how can you follow that? But
You have roses?
I don't have roses. I don't have anything written. I don't know. But tomorrow morning I would regret not recognizing the leadership of these two great people. Robin, I first met you on the homeless committee, and like I sat there next to you. Like, how can another person think so astronomically different from you? I had no idea how we can see the world from two different sides. And have two completely different perspectives. This gets positive. In that meeting, you really taught me that leadership is not about having your ideas and forcing those ideas through. Leadership is about listening. And in that meeting and through that process, you listened a lot. And over the years since then, I've seen you listen a lot. I've seen you care, and I've seen you express empathy, I've seen you express kindness, even in circumstances where I don't know how you did it. You're challenged in ways that I don't think it's fair, I don't think it's dignified, nor do I think it's respectful. But you continue to rise to the occasion. And I think that leadership is powerful. Your 23 years of service, I think, is a model for young people in this city to know that they can get in, buckle in early, and then have a real sustainable role in the leadership of this community. So thank you for everything. Muir, my man, I saw you at a forum and I thought, I have to volunteer for this guy. I have no idea, I wasn't even into white candidates then. But I heard you speak and I heard your pragmatism and the amount of care that you had for the community. And I thought I had to get out and volunteer for you. And I think it was one of the best political decisions, despite running for office myself, that I think I've made, because your leadership has left a profound mark on this community. I came to understand your intellectual capacity, and I think that's what made us friends. But as I got to know your heart better, I think that's what made us brothers. And I thank you for your model. I thank you for the lessons that you've taught through the way that you live your life, through the lessons that you've imparted from the dais, from the rationale that you've experienced and expressed with the issues that have come before you. And I think that leadership is hard to replicate. So I thank you, and as always, I got your back. We got a lot more experiences and adventures to go on together, but thank you for your service. Thank you for the legacy you live in the city. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Neely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, City Council members. It's an honor to be here. Today I come not just as representing Hillcrest, but my own family. We've lived in Laverne 24 years, so that just kind of rings true. Very grateful for the service. There is no perfect City Council member, but there are people with perfect intentions. I've been watching how you have both operated in this arena, which has been very difficult. External factors, internal factors, none of those were your fault, but how you dealt with them during very difficult public outcry was admirable and exemplary. I remember Robin attending a city council meeting where she voted against the group, which is not easy. And Muir Davis is an independent thinker too, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful, I hope that continues. Not that we want contention. I think you can be of different opinions without being contentious, and you showed us how to do that. And I'm grateful, and I hope that everyone will vote their conscience for what is best for the city, which I have seen you do. And I look forward to the service of those who are going to come in and replace you. And in the last moment, I'll just share that in my role at Hillcrest, we have many residents from Hillcrest here today. I see generations of people. We have a former mayor's wife and family here, and her son is going to be taking a seat on this stand. And there are generations in our city of people of influence. And I'm very grateful for the time that you have spent to be a part of this significant chapter of this great city, and look forward to the future being better because of the service you've rendered. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comment? Yes. Sherry, come on up.
Okay. And it's not about the truck. That'll come later.
I know she wants money.
I do, it's true. I would like to deeply thank the members of the Laverne City Council and welcome the recently elected new members to leadership in our city. To the mayor and members of the council who served and continue to serve, I am aware of your many accomplishments and will be forever grateful for your steady and responsible leadership. Words like encouragement, logic, competence, accessibility, reason, and caring come to mind. To our newly elected city council members, I welcome you as Laverne's future community leaders. We learned a frightening lesson more than a year ago when our national democracy was threatened during a fragile time of leadership transition. This is a time to lean in and not pull away. It is a time to listen with heart as well as with mind. It is a time to support all city residents, including those who are not as publicly engaged, but are just as important and valuable to our community. Thank you for your time and your dedication.
Thank you, Sherry.
I just wanted to say to Councilmember Cader and Mayor, I want to thank you for being strong voices and for always doing what's best for all of us. I thank you for giving so much of yourselves in service. I want to thank you both for welcoming me personally into the city. I thought that was really awesome and really encouraging me. You've both really been a big inspiration to me to get involved and do what's best for the city. I look forward to seeing you both around town. I look forward to seeing you both stay involved and keeping us all accountable. You truly have been an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivana. Anyone else in the audience? Public comment? Nobody on the board up there? No hands raised? We're going to go ahead and close public comment, bring it up to the dais for council members to have their thoughts. Mr. Crosby.
Thank you. I first met Robin 23 years ago when I was a brand new teacher, and she was on the school board. And her inspiration of service, when I first was thinking about running, Robin reached out to me and sat down with me and really gave me encouragement and motivation. So really, really do appreciate all you've done for everyone. And sitting on the YFAC committee, I got to sit on it when I was assistant principal and really got to learn about you. But then sitting on this past 2 years with you, you're a true inspiration for what you do for the city, the students, and all the families of Laverne. So really appreciate that. And Mr. Davis, you first told me when I was thinking about running for office, this is the loneliest board that you'll ever sit on. And it truly is, because we cannot speak about what we're doing to each other because of the Brown Act. But just you became a colleague, and both of you became friends. And that's what means the most to me. So appreciate your service. We appreciate you being on council with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Parker.
We must have had some of the same conversations, so just subbing, myself or Rick, but Robin, I think, the world of everything that you've done for the city. And I think to echo Danita's point, it is not an easy road to hoe when you were one of the first females to make that foray into elected office in a city that hadn't seen a woman in elected office for a number of years, many years. So to be one of the first is obviously a huge accomplishment, and I look up to you for that, and I appreciate all the time that you spent when I was considering running, even when I was saying, no, I'm not gonna run. So I thank you for all your insight, your advice, your guidance. It's been phenomenal, and so it's been a really humbling experience, but also a really awesome experience to be able to serve with you, and I will miss you on this. But I hope to see you out in the crowd, and I hope to see you around town. And Mr. Davis, you said the same thing to me, that this is the loneliest board I've ever served on. And having served on many boards and continuing to serve on many boards, you are right. Because I think there are many times when we've all said, this would be so much easier if we could just get together and have a discussion about this, but we can't. So thank you for being that voice, being a sounding board, being someone who has always had an open door to say, I've sat where you sat. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I think that's, I hope that we can provide the same sort of sounding board to our newly electeds who are coming in, because I know that made a world of difference for me personally, because it isn't an easy job. And you think you know what you're getting into, and then you don't. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate being able to have good conversations with you. And I will miss you as well on this night. But I expect to see you around, and I expect to be able to actually now go grab a beer and hang out. So,
Now?
well, let's go. Everybody gets on it. No.
I'll buy. Well, thank you. Councilmember Carter. We've known each other for a long time. And our meeting was actually on the Bond Oversight Committee with Benita.
Yes.
When we pulled us in on that. And we were able to keep them straight, and also the Benita High School, and making sure that everything was done under construction. So you can thank Robin's fortitude and vision. Also, as her husband said, the gold mine. It wouldn't be where it's at without Robin and her partners with the gold mine and the Gold Mine Authority. I will say a little story that we were, if you notice on Benita, if you're part of Benita High School and you've been there, there's a new snack bar on the south side of the high school. And we had a little youth sports council meeting. This was a couple years ago. And Robin and I are sitting there and going, well, we can't do the snack bar. And Robin and I looked at each other and said, oh, yes, you can. You can do the snack bar. And a few months later, all of a sudden, we found money for the snack bar. And this is for our kids. And Robin's been 100% with you. And that's a testament to you. And we both have the same vision on that. And we built the snack bar, and they're using it now, so it's wonderful. So there's too many accomplishments. You've been on the school board, you've been on council, and I appreciated your knowledge and your forward-looking, and we've done some great things. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you. Mr. Davis, I'm a financial guru over here. We have clashed many times on how we get to the point, but at the end of the day, we made some great decisions. Our city is a much better place for that. He's with me on the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. Although I was very busy with that, he didn't get a chance to do it many times, but he was right there in the back whenever he needed to be. But I think that also on his active transportation committee, especially with the GO line and his forward-looking on that for mobility for our residents to be able to bike, ride, walk safely in Laverne and have the proper things put in place for us, like our GO line bridge. I'm very much of an advocate for that. So again, and I appreciate your service. You've done a heck of a job, and you will be missed. You will both be missed. Thank you both for your service. Now,
Okay, we're gonna lighten this up and do something special.
Turn on your mic.
It is on.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay, do you recall when we had the last election, COVID took place? So there were people that were elected that they did not get the recognition. But we have a very special person in the audience, Charlie Rosales, who was a council member stepping down, and Don Kendrick. They did not get the recognition either. So Charlie, first, let's start with you. I'd like you to stand. And we want to recognize you and thank you for all the years. And Don could not be here tonight, but I thank him for his service too. But now we need to have the three of you stand, be recognized, Tim as mayor, Wendy and Rick, for your first term. Even though you're still serving, you never got to get the attention that you deserve.
Oh, we did. We got to see our family out officially.
There, we got three colors here. Okay, before I start, a couple comments I have. I wanted to make sure everybody, when you came in the door, you saw the display over in the back corner of the special chair with the plaque next to it. We placed that today. All that wood was made by Don Kendrick and donated. We worked, Bob and I and Don met when Don presented to us a proposition that this is something that we should do. There's some in different capitals across the country, and we wanted to have it here. You know, we all support our military, and is it not working?
It's not working.
Well, I'm loud, I'm told. Can
Well,
you
switch.
Okay.
Robin, let's take that home with you.
Is this better?
There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay. So anyhow, Don Kendrick built all that display. He hand carved it, built it from scratch. If you notice above the chair, there's a picture of an eagle with his head bowed. That is for all the missing MIA and POWs that are out there. And so we wanted to honor them, have it here in our council chambers, and then every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, that will be placed at our services over at Memorial, the Veterans Hall. So please, give recognition, say a prayer as you pass by, and I thank Don Kendrick for that beautiful display. Okay, I'd like to first, then, under my comments, congratulate Steve Johnson. Do you want to stand, Steve? And Cash, where are you, Cash?
Where?
And then the re-election of Tim Hepburn. Congratulations. I want to wish you the best on the council. And I know, Steve, you and I served together the first 2 years I was on. And the only advice I want to give you is remember your spouses. You don't realize how much time your family gives up for you to serve. So, and I know you know, Tim. But it's just, we couldn't do it without the support of your families. And so I thank the families that are involved. And of course, my husband, but I'll do that in a minute. Okay. History of moving to Laverne is very special to us because we were 23 years old. I was pregnant with my second child, and we were looking for a new home in a nice community. We drove through Laverne and fell in love with it and bought our second home in Laverne. And ever since we've stayed here, we've lived here 43 years. My son just turned 43. And it's a community, as you all feel, a loving community that we all want to, give our time and efforts to make it even better. We care about one another. People are kind. People care and will make a difference in your lives as much as their own. After I lived here just shortly, a couple of years, Craig Walters was very young. He was running for city council. Bob and I wanted to get involved, so we worked on his campaign. And that was my first, campaign to work on, and it was really interesting. And he did win. And I thought, wow, that's really, interesting. Somebody giving that much time to the community. And so I followed him. Shortly, about 5 years later, I was asked to be the interim director at the Chamber of Commerce. I was working there, and one of our council members, newly elected at that time, and I'm not going to say names, was walking by and wanted to say hi to me in the chamber. And so I was telling him, thank you for your service, but, this is something I'd like to do one day, is run for city council. He looked at me, shook his head, and said, a woman would never win in our city. It's a man's community. And I was shocked, and I thought, okay, well, I kind of just kept that in the back of, my head thinking, well, okay. So then I worked with Ramona, got on school board. That was a treasure to me. Working with our kids, our youth, is just amazing. Then, after I was just going to serve 2 years, stepped down, but then as they said, very good friend of mine, Ed Jones, he had an accident over a cliff in San Dimas, died. I truly had a calling that I needed to fulfill the rest of his term, so I did for 2.5 more years. We hired a wonderful superintendent, most of you knew Gary Rapkin, wonderful man. But 2 years later, he came to me and he was the first to tell me that Blickenstaff was not going to rerun, that I need to. And at that time I really wasn't thinking of running, but I thought about it and then I did. And one thing anyone running for election knows, it's timing. Everything is timing, and it was perfect timing. This has truly been my pleasure serving this community. I have worked with some of the best council members, and it's very special to me. Charlie, you're right in there with it. And I have made lifelong friends with all of you. Thank you all so much. You've heard some of my highlights. Thank you very much of what I felt were very important in this community. And the Veterans Memorial is very special to me. I've never served, no one in my family, but my brother-in-law did. But once the committee was being formed, I wanted to be a part of it, because any way that we can recognize our military for their service that they've given, we need to all do that. And we live on this land free, and we get to enjoy the benefits because of their hard work and their lives. And so I'm proud to be a part of that, and will continue to be a part. Because I'm stepping down from here does not mean I'm not going to continue giving to our community. There's still quite a few committees I'm still on, and I will be at council meetings once in a while when there's topics that I'm interested in that I feel we can make a difference. And so do know that if you ever need me, I'll be there, and we're right here in town. Just in God we trust was very important to me. My religion is very important to me, and I feel when I started doing the research, who can't have prayers over us? We need that. We're working to make a difference, and it's not always easy, but what does it hurt? And a lot of the different, money all has in trust, and love, in God we trust, and other areas. So I felt that was very important, so I'm honored that that is hanging up in our council chambers. As it was said, it was so wonderful when we decided that, I was worried with my husband that what's going to happen to our community, that 5 people, even though I'm sitting up here, I'm one of them, 5 people are going to decide what's going to happen to our public services, such as, the fire department. And to have us go county by the vote of just 5, I did not feel that was fair. I felt the community needed to vote on that. So we decided to put a little petition together, And it was during COVID, the worst time, but we knocked on doors and asked people, look, we only have a couple weeks here to do this, but we need to let the council know how we feel. Are you interested in signing? We got 1,600 signatures in 2 weeks. And there was a committee that went out and got these. And I thank the committee out there that, went around, got the signatures. It shows that how much people care. And I brought it to the council for a discussion. And thank you, Muir. You made that suggestion that any decisions going forward with public safety, that public services safety, it will go before the voters. So thank you for that. I don't want to miss anything, so, Gold Line is always going to be very special to me. I got on it before we even started this phase, and Gold Line is coming. Our police department is right on top of how we're going to deal with the homeless. There's not a simple solution, but they are, working with other cities to see what they've done. And I feel this is going to be a true benefit to our city, and especially the university. For the students to come to the university on the Gold Line will be so great for them. So whoever serves on the Gold Line after myself, please, remember, fight hard for Laverne. And our station's being built right now, and we can all enjoy it in a couple years. 3 years, it's going to be all ready to come through Pomona. I want to thank all my friends and supporters who helped with the campaigns over the years. I have ran 5 successful campaigns between school district and city, and each one was a joy. The support and friends that I've made throughout it, I thank them, and each one of you that was a part of it. To the staff, I can't say enough about our staff. To the newly elected, please take the time, understand our staff. They're the doers. They're the ones getting the work done here. Trust in them, believe in them, talk to them, and understand where they're coming from. But it's so important to let them do the job. We are here to not micromanage. We're here to, make sure that the process is moving forward. Every department I have gotten to know over the years, and I thank everybody for their friendship, for, I'm really trying not to cry. And all that has been done. We've worked together for the betterment of Laverne, and I really think it's made a difference. And I treasure every staff member that we have. Thank you very much, all of you. To Bob Russi, you are very special. You are, I was part of hiring you. And I came into your office the day when you announced that you were going to go for the position. Marty was stepping down. And I told you I was used to school board where actually you still have the interviews to decide, and hear from others. But you had all the qualities, and I asked you, tell me why I should just, hand this position to you. And you had the answers. Marty had the answers that you were the right man. You have been. We've worked together as a team with the past council and this council, and you're visible. You've done everything we've asked to be seen out in the public. You're great with the budget, and I truly treasure our friendship too. So, like I said, these are friendships that will last a lifetime. I thank you. Now, to my husband and family. First, I want to make sure you all know, even though we went through cancer with my daughter this past year, she is cancer-free, and it was a long time, throughout that year. It felt longer than a year, but we got through it, and I'm so proud of my daughter, her kids, her husband. Even my son from Michigan kept coming out, supporting her, and he one day wanted to take her to City of Hope. And I thank you all for your prayers, for your love and support. To my wonderful husband, Robert, you not only stood behind me throughout these 22 years of service, you pushed me, to say, push yourself, go do things, get involved. And I consider you now standing next to me, not behind me. And we are a team, a partner. And 48 years of marriage, we are, moving forward on the next stage of life. We get to enjoy each other, and I can't thank you enough. I love you, and thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to the next chapter of our life. Thank you, everyone, very much.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I understand what Thomas was saying. The Carders are a hard act to follow. I want to join Robin, though, in congratulating the newly electeds. You'll get recognized a little bit more, so I won't embarrass you a second time out of 3. So I'll just recognize you and thank you as you're sitting. I want to thank the residents and the supporters who helped me get into this position in the first place. And actually, one of those that you'll be surprised to hear about was Steve Johnson was the first one who suggested that I run for council in 2009 when John Blickenstaff was stepping down. At that time, my children were young, in middle school, elementary school, and high school, and I thought that the commitment, little did I know, but there was a tiny bit of wisdom there saying maybe the commitment for city council is a little too large with a family so young. So it was 8 years later, in 2017, that one was off to college, one was in high school, and one was in middle school. I said, well, this will be a convenient time. And so I ran for city council, thanks to Steve Johnson planting that seed in my head in 2009. So thank you for that, Steve. I appreciate it. Having served on many boards, corporate boards, and other types of nonprofit boards, as you know, the biggest shock I had joining this board was how lonely it was. And that's what I shared with anybody who asked me about joining city council. It is shocking. It took me a little while, but Mr. Russi, I finally learned that he was my conduit for information. Growing up in corporate America, you learn that when your boss asks you for something or when a peer asks you for something, you go do the research and you bring back a well thought out explanation and argument for whatever position you're taking. With our council coming up with decisions, I was trying to run around and figure out what I could learn, what I couldn't learn outside of this body to bring to the body. And what I learned on council was that I needed to bring my openness, my interest, and my thoughts to the information that was being provided by the body and through the city council or through the city manager, and largely from staff, because most of these ideas were staff driven. So I want to thank everybody who supported me, who supported my campaign. I had 2 different campaign managers in my short term. But I'm proud of my campaign, and I'm proud of what we accomplished both in campaigning and while I've been on council, and any shortfalls in any of those areas are my own. I was the one who was limited and not able to prevail in this last election. Second section I want to talk about is what I've learned and what I've experienced here on council. I've learned what to focus on and what not to be distracted by. There's a lot to be distracted by on council because you have 30,000 people that you're interested in hearing from. And you have staff that's interested in talking to you, and you have other council members who are trying to get information to you or from you, and which is good, but it's also limited. So you're limited on how much exposure you can have in all sorts of areas. But what I did learn primarily from being in corporate America, where the stock market was driving senior executives and boards to look shorter and shorter term into the next 90 days, that as a staff person, it was hard for me to think out 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years if my senior executives were looking at 90 days, 180 days, and 365 days. So what I took to that for this council was to make sure that at least my vision was looking at 3 years at the earliest, or 5 years, or 20 years. That the day-to-day work that was being done by this staff, championed by our city manager, Bob Russi, supported by legal counsel and other staff, is that we have departments here and people here who, when they're able to do their work without concern of a board council, of a city council, they can make the real magic happen. And that's really what has made Laverne so special, is the fact that we've had staff that have had the freedom to make decisions to help make Laverne better, because 5 people don't make Laverne better, 8 people don't make Laverne better, 160 plus employees make Laverne the special place that Laverne is. So I appreciated the fact that I was able to recognize my limitations and needing to get out of their way and make sure that I was looking at a long position. So the vision for and from council is really imperative. Lastly, the advice I have for council coming in and for the council staying. Continue to work together in helping residents and continue to work for those things that help bring our residents together. It's important that those things that divide us will divide us and will be caustic and toxic to the city. And we need to resist those activities and making sure that we work better in community and for each other. Keep your eyes on the future and let management take the day-to-day effort. Also, don't take our current model of governing for granted. That's the one thing I've learned and has actually made me even a more religious person than I was when I came on council. In the last few years, we have seen more distrust and cynicism about government, about attempts of unfair elections, false claims, worsening political polarization, the worst we have seen since the Civil War. We have seen setbacks on issues of gun violence, women's rights, LGBTQI rights, and minority rights. Christian doctrine, I am Christian, affirms the omnipresence of God. And it also causes me to think about the practical meaning of that. For me, Jesus is about love, and that was a primary spiritual principle that he promoted. God's love included our enemies as well as our fellow citizens and residents. It embraced the poor as well as the wealthy, and the forgotten as well as the privileged. Accordingly, God's presence and action are to be understood primarily in terms of love. And these actions of the council, in my eyes, need to follow that. The only power from this perspective that God embodies is loving power, and this must ultimately include everyone, not just the select few. There are no outsiders to God's love. So I leave this council filled with love and joy, and I anticipate that I will remain engaged as an elder statesman now that I'm no longer on the dais. Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much. Mr. Russi, post-election procedures.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, now is the time for council to take action as it relates to the election of June 7th, 2022, and declaring the other matters as provided by law. So what the council should do is confirm the canvassing and the election results that have been provided. And based on those, the 3 candidates that will be seated here tonight are Stephen Johnson for District 1 for a 4-year term that will run until June of 2026. There will be MESHAL, KASH, and I'm probably not going to try and do that to the last name, if you don't mind.
KCAL-TV.
Yes.
Easy.
To District 3 for a 4-year term until 2026, and Tim Hepburn to District 4 for a 4-year term to June of 26. What we need now is for this council to take a motion and a second on this, and then we will swear these individuals into office.
Motion, please.
I move that we accept or adopt Resolution 2241, reciting the facts of the Consolidated General Municipal Election held on the 7th day of June 2022, declaring the results and other such matters as provided by law.
Second.
Second.
Vote, please.
Wrong way. That's my trust.
It really wasn't an election.
Did it come up?
That's up. Well, that motion carries.
All
to run.
Now what I'd ask is, Louis Estrella, our city clerk, is here to swear in 3 new members of council. So, Mayor Hepburn, if you would make your way down there, and then the other 2 candidates, if you would make your way to the front. Yes, please.
Okay. I'll ask in the microphone later if I forget.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of you for your election, being on the city council. So I'm going to have the pleasure of administrating your oath. Okay, so I'm going to say the oath and we're going to repeat it after, okay?
All at the same time.
Well, I'm going to go,
You don't want it?
I'll ask you to state your name one at a time.
Okay.
I, Stephen Johnson,
I, Tim Hepburn,
I, MESHAL, KASHIFALGHITA.
Now, all together, please. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
That
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and
to the
allegiance
Constitution
to the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
And that I take this obligation freely
And I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
that I will
well
well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties I'm about to enter.
Almost past 3
Okay, we
times.
got Councilmember Steve Johnson was elected to District Number 1. We have Councilmember KASH, you mind if I call you KASH?
Call me whatever you want.
District 3.
Don't call me Clay.
And Councilmember Tim Hepburn to District 4. Now we're going to move to call for nominations for mayor.
no, we're going to take a break.
We're going
We're gonna take a
I'm
recess.
sorry.
Recess.
We're
This is the
getting ahead.
musical chairs part.
Okay.
Okay,
We're-
recess.
Recess, everyone.